We just got a giant chicken's worth of a look at Fable at the January 22nd, 2026 Xbox Developer Showcase, where they show off upcoming games, usually from Xbox's first-party studios and partners. There was a lot of cool stuff. They showed more of Game Freak's next game that's not Pokemon, Beast of Reincarnation, and I'm a big fan of Fable, so I'm excited to talk about it, but let's get started with Forza Horizon 6. It's $70, and I'll say this game is gorgeous. We're heading to Japan, and some of those areas they showed off were just amazing. From Tokyo City to a thick bamboo forest to snowy mountainsides, everything was so beautiful to look at. The game has you start as a tourist rookie racer in Japan and has a promise of more than 550 cars at launch, being Forza's biggest roster yet. But it's important to note that Forza Horizon 5 launched with 530 cars and is now up to 900. So I'm sure some fans are going to feel the sting of losing their favorite cars. The devs are saying this is the most complex and intricate space of drivable area in a Horizon game yet, and it looked like they added some sort of estate builder where you construct buildings and streets in what looks to be a pretty big area. It's got some of the best in-game streets I've ever seen. You can see so many cracks in the asphalt. Some of the shots in this game, it's just amazing how realistic it looks. For audio, they field recorded across all 4 seasons in Japan, which I think is kind of neat because you're actually hearing the sounds of Japan, you know? I've never been to Japan, so I'm really excited to not just explore Tokyo City during the day and at night, but I think it's pretty cool that we're going to be driving through countrysides. I saw a portion where they're driving through like a mountainside with snow piled really high on either side. It was really cool to look at, very visually striking, and I'm excited to just get lost in Japan. Next, we got Beast of Reincarnation, which I'm mildly interested in. I think it looks cool, but it's Game Freak, so everything that they show I take with a grain of salt. We're starting here with the general producer of Game Freak, listing off other original series that Game Freak has produced besides Pokemon, these games being Pocket Card Jockey and Giga Wrecker. I actually had to go and look these games up, and they just so happen to be some of the worst games I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why they would start by mentioning these 2 games that look like glorified Flash games. But anyway, Beast of Reincarnation. The producer himself is saying that the gameplay is described as a one-person, one-dog action RPG, which is one of the goofiest game descriptions I've ever heard in my life. The game is very visually impressive. I had no idea Game Freak could do something like this based on the way their Pokemon games have been looking, which is like total garbage. So we got Emma, our female protagonist, and Ku, a giant white dog who's our partner, journeying through a harsh world where parasitic plants known as the Blight have overgrown across the globe. It sounds like they're playing with the idea of, instead of having a team of Pokemon, now you have one singular dog partner who you're going to control like a turn-based RPG. Traversing the environment requires dynamic movement, and you use your vine-like hair to help with that movement. Her hair can like transform into a vine pogo stick or a vine bridge, kind of like Groot in Marvel Rivals. Plants are the core motif in this game for something that you could freely change shape, making things dangerous yet still beautiful. And plants are a big part of the actual gameplay as well. The creatures you're going to be fighting are called Malefacts, which are creatures fused with plants. They showed what looks like a panda bear completely fused and overtaken by vines and flowers with a giant blue flower mane. It's honestly a really cool design, and it's kind of Pokemon-esque. The combat looks like an interesting mix of action and turn-based, where when you control Emma, it's all action, and when you control Ku the dog, time slows down and it's more turn-based. It looks cool. I'm gonna reserve my excitement though, just because it's Game Freak and the way they've treated Pokemon lately, it's hard to trust them. But it's coming out on Game Pass, so I'll give a one dog, one person action RPG type game a try. That's a mouthful. All right, on to Fable from Playground Games, the guys who have been making Forza Horizon since 2010. This is their first ever open world action RPG. So I played Fable 1 and 2 back in middle school. I don't remember too much of it. I do remember enjoying progressing the story, doing quests. I remember killing werewolves. I remember trying to marry villagers, buying a house. I had one character that I played good, so he had a halo. Another character that I played bad, and he grew the devil horns, which I thought was really cool. For me, Fable is a nostalgia-fueled blast from the past, so I can't help but to be excited for the next one. So this game is not a direct sequel to the first two, but they're saying that it's gonna have the same core question as the first games, which is, what does it mean to you to be a hero? The game is about choices and consequences. Just like the originals, you start the game as a child who discovers their power through some kind of disaster. Only difference is that in this game, it's truly open world, so from very early, you can go where you want, do what you want. You're gonna have full player customization. You can be male or female, change your clothing and all that good stuff. The combat looks really good and smooth. I'm loving all the animation, and as I'm watching it in action, it does kind of remind me of the original games, being that it doesn't look overly complicated. It looks like it's using single button combos in combination with simple spell casting, and I'm all here for that. This Fable might not have the same cartoony style as the first two, but it still maintains all the vibes and character. This is a game with a personality, and it oozes through. It doesn't feel kind of generic like Beasts of Reincarnation. You can do all the classic fun stuff like getting a job, getting a wife, having kids, getting a divorce, getting new wives, having more kids, buying houses for all your different families, all of that fun stuff. There's going to be more than 1,000 villagers, and every single one of them has a name, and they're all unique with their own role, daily routine, and personality. It sounds crazy, but they're claiming you can follow any one of these individuals for an entire day, and they're gonna live out their life, go to work, do hobbies, and go to bed. All the villagers are gonna have unique thoughts on you based on where they are in life, where you are, and your reputation. Things like maybe they work at a shop that you own, or they lived in a house that you're the landlord at, and you just had to kick them out, so now they're living on the streets and they insult you as you walk past them lying on a pile of hay. They don't want things to be just black and white. You might do some things that in some people's eyes are good and in others is bad. Everything you do is going to have different consequences with different people. They highlight an early story beat to show how your choices have major consequences. There's this researcher who makes a bad growth formula and drinks it, and he turns into a giant. If you kill him, his giant corpse is going to stay lying there the entire game, stinking up the area, affecting how the villagers think of you and affecting house pricing. I think this preview looked really promising. I really liked everything I saw, from the combat to the in-game social systems. It's all looking so polished, and it's all reverberating with personality, just like the originals. They still seem to have all the humor and whimsy, yet not losing that dark edge when they need it. I did some research, and I guess they took out the system where if you're good, you get a halo, and if you're bad, you grow devil horns. That kind of sucks, because for me, that was one of the more memorable, kind of cool aspects when I was playing as a kid. But either way, I'm not going to let a little thing like that bother me. This game looks amazing, and I can't wait to get back into the world of Albion this fall. All right, last but absolutely not least, we got Kiln. This one was a surprise at the Direct. It's a multiplayer team-based pottery game where you spin your own pots and cups out of clay and bring them to life with little colorful spirits. With your handcrafted pottery, you team up and go against another team trying to douse one another's kiln fires. It looks like you find water around the map or stealing it from other enemies by attacking them and breaking their pottery, and then you make your way over to the enemy kiln and pour the water in to douse out the fire. First team to do this wins. How much water you carry is affected by how you spin your pottery. You can make big hulking teapots or nimble little ninja saucers or anything in between. It looks fun. I'll for sure be spitting up a penis and putting out fires with my fluids when it comes to Game Pass this spring. All right, that's it, you guys. Thanks for joining me. If you made it this far, much love. I really do appreciate that. This is Finn TV 123. I'm Finn. Check out all the socials. I got the IG, I got the TikTok. It's all Finn_TV_123. Finn TV123. Signing up. I'll see you guys later.
Pixel Kings, he runs the zone. Boss battles.